taking the victory lap here with our boy Big T. Massive takedown PGA last night. Shipped the Millie.
The Twins got the job done for our boy Hoop. Won him $100K, won him a live final seat.
JSU shipped $200K on, I think, just $1,000 worth of entries. He had a monster night.
Anytime we see members crush like this, we're excited.
Last night, one of our most loyal subscribers from the beginning, Jay Love, took down $20K.
I want to give a shout out to Redmen, who won over $50,000 on opening day.
Blind Bandit took down the $100,000 top prize.
We had someone win a live final seat.
It was one of those days where it's like going 5x or 10x on your money. It wasn't enough to get enough love in the Discord.
Record 62 took down the Millie Maker.
I don't even know if this heater is ever going to end.
Some of these other sites are just boring you to death.
I like how other sites nickel and dime you for every penny they can get.
Tons of the members have given tickets and membership on their own. Like, we're not telling them to do that. They're just doing it for good mojo.
You love to see it. We love the good mojo. And
the mojo is what the mojo is.
I give you credit for still having that hat on. We appreciate it.
Wait till we ship tonight. I might never take it off.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Monday Swing for the Fences show. I'm with my two boys, Hoop and Big T. Arguably, maybe the two best MLB tournament players so far this year. Big T started off multiple $100,000 hits, but man, Hoop's coming for you, Big T. I don't know what the numbers are, but it seems like every day this past week, he only posts the six-figure ones, but I'm checking them. Second place, third place, fourth place. Sitting up there every time. I mean, you got FanDuel MLB figured out for sure. I'll throw it right over to you first. A bunch of 4-4 teams. We keep it tight with pitching. We always play what we say the best ones are. Don't worry about ownership too much. And then 4-4 stacks. And I mean, play the bottom of the order we talk about. You've been absolutely crushing it. Bobby Dowlbeck nailed it for you a little bit ago. Every day you got someone. But Hoop, baseball legend, how you doing over there?
Doing well. Had some technical difficulties here, but yeah, it's been a nice run. It's been a very nice run in MLB DFS. And yeah, I mean, honestly, the best part about it is you kind of nailed it. Every single night when I'm sitting there on the verge of shipping, you know, I've had quite a few ships the last few weeks. I'm thinking I'm coming for that spot. I'm coming for Big T spot. I want to, be the next guy to be on this epic sort of heater, and it's tough. Last night, or I guess yesterday afternoon, we were right there with baseball, made three teams. All of them were in contention to ship at the end and fell a little short. Second place in basically everything, one hit away from, taking down the entire slate. But, Big T type heaters, not easy to accomplish, but I feel like I'm getting close. I feel like I'm getting close to catching.
Definitely getting close indeed. I mean, what a run it's been. A lot of members too, nonstop, all the sports. We'll get there first. But Big T, how are you doing on this Monday afternoon? We got a good 9-game slate, good pitching up top. I was trying to talk you into these goon squads pre-show, trying to help you get your stuff set up and all that. I told them nothing would be better with little profile picture, Big T on there. But how you doing on this Monday afternoon? I don't know if you've looked at the slate at all, but good pitching, pretty good hitting spot. Should be a fun night. And hold on, and we got to talk about the fights yesterday. You helped me make a little cheese. I was on Jake Paul. You found the action, and I mean, it was one of the most boring fights I've ever seen. The post-fight interview is definitely the best, but hey, giblets are giblets, and they were shipped, so I got to thank you for that too.
It doesn't matter how you get them. It can be boring. I like boring when the dude we're fighting throws no volume at all, just like the MMA. It's tough to lose when the dude throws no volume at you, so super easy there. Yeah, I mean, it always feels good to get some dollars from some of the top people around that they wanted that Jake Paul smoke. That's okay. You got to give it to them sometimes. Loved it. It was fun. But yeah, we're back to baseball. Hoop on fire. I love it. People would think that there's like a rivalry. I mean, yeah, we talk trash and stuff, but I love it when he wins in the tournament streets. Nothing better. We were talking before we even came on. I want him to stop playing that nonsense cash, focus on being just tournament. And I think he's ready for it. He was open to it. There's no reason to dabble in those cash streets when you could just peel these tournaments like the Hoopster is.
Yeah, no, I mean, Hoop can leave me to the cash street. I can't do what Hoop's all doing over there. But if I was you, Hoop, how do you win 100Ks, 30Ks, and then go and play cash streets? So I'm with you, Big T. I don't know if I could go back to the cash streets if I was you, Hoop. However, NFL, maybe you got to get in there because NFL is one of the softest cash streets there is. But we'll throw it over. I mean, we got RPS NFL 15 at 15% off your monthly subscription for life. NFL is coming up next Thursday. Hoop, talk about that because I know the promo code is ending soon, and we have a bunch of content for NFL. And then we're obviously going to keep doing baseball. We have tennis. That's the best thing about here at RPS. Every sport, one price. We grind it nonstop. Bunch of winners we'll get to over the weekend in multiple sports. But talk about what NFL content we'll have coming up.
Yeah, we're going to obviously have a ton of NFL content. You know, we try to talk about it here every day on the show. So we're going to have a main NFL show running Monday through Friday. It'll cover different topics. We'll have 2 or 3 guys on there breaking it down every day at 2 p.m. Eastern on the show. Some are going to be free, some are going to be premium, but you can expect to see RPS people on this channel Monday through Friday. And we have the promo code going, RPS NFL 15, and this is going to be the last week for the 15% off. So if you want to sign up, you've kind of been waiting. Now is the time to do it because the 15% off for life is going to be going away. Next week, it'll be a much, much lower percent off. So this is going to be the last week. Like I said, we're going to run this, Monday through Friday. We'll be talking about it. And like I said, this price is locked in for life. If you want just DFS, you're looking at about $67, $68. If you want DFS and sports betting, $85 locked in for life, as long as you don't cancel. Includes every sport under the same price tag. The other sites are going to charge you when football starts by $300, $400. Basketball starting in October, they're going to charge you another $300, $400. Not at Run Pure Sports, monthly price, and you're locked in for life with a 15% off. If you want to do it, that's going away on Friday. So now's the time to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, basketball is coming up really, really soon. Before we know it, you don't want to be paying all these, getting shipped, getting billed every single sport because there's sports going on nonstop. That's the best thing that we have over here. Tennis is going on. Susie's been crushing it. NASCAR, we just had some big winners. Golf, MMA, you name it, we got it over here. And we'll throw it right over the members never win.
Yeah, just one more thing about like the content that we offer. Like a lot of these sites you sign up, they're going to say, okay, well, here's the projections, here's the ceiling, here's the floor. Now, if you combine this with the ownership and you combine the current trend of this player, these are the guys you should be looking at. Like, people don't want that. Like at Run Pure Sports, we just give winners. Like, you come to our site, we give you winners, and that's what people want. Not all this crap where you got to dig through, 30 different types of stats and trends and ownership and all, throw all that shit out the window. Run Pure Sports, we're about the winners.
Yeah. I mean, of course we look at that stuff sometimes, but we look at it, we narrow it down, and that's what we do. We then pick the winners. We won't bore you to death on these shows. We have some fun, talk about different sports, whatever's on our mind, and pick some winners for sure. Talking about winners, members never win over the weekend. We had some very big hits, starting with MLB, our boy AP. He got the live final seat, absolutely smashed. I believe it was the White Sox stack. And then
his first one too. You get that first one you get is always the best one. I mean, just like when you got your first trip to the workbench, you always remember it. First time you get that live final seat is a special one. So if I'm not shipping, I'm going to be rooting for my boy AP because that first final, I'd love to see him take that puppy down.
I was going to say, yeah, because you qualified there. He'll see you and a couple other members that he shouted out on Twitter. He's going to be there. Good amount of RPS people, just like you guys had in Colorado. AP, congrats to that. First live final. I mean, that's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys take it down. Then you go to NASCAR. We had 2 very big wins over the weekend. KHR123. He won 15,000. Then we had Toad Agard. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but I always see him in Discord. He's been a member for a long time. $17,500, two very, very big wins. Matty Ice and Coop have actually absolutely been crushing NASCAR. Xfinity races. This is what we're talking about. Every sport. Xfinity races on Saturdays, the main ones on Sundays, any other races in between. Get all the content. Make sure you check it out. Congrats to those two and great content. And then PGA, another couple big winners. BBQ winner, $15,000 in PGA. And then Jeremy Kahn. I know he's been around for a long time. I think you guys friends with you guys. Runs a radio show, I believe, but he's been around at RPS. $25,000 he took down on FanDuel. Congrats to him. Multiple sports, multiple shippers. It's always good to see. I mean, we see people in chat too. Uncle T, K Phallic, Ron Rice, Brian Palinkas, B Nair, Joey Work, G Risen. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us on this Monday. Big T, anything you also want to talk about before diving into this MLB slate? I mean, great weekend, a bunch of different sports. I know you're a college football. We didn't even have any screenshots on there, but Bruce absolutely killed it. I saw multiple screenshots in there. You name the sport, there's winners being produced, and you're always in there in every sport. Preseason football, Rubio, JSU, Snyder. It was a print fest over there. Helped me get to the winner's circle. Even saw you dabbling in the cash streets, which shows how good the content is, playing the best plays.
The preseason is definitely one of the ones I play cash because there's just plays that are so obvious that you just do it and then hope people don't play those plays.
And they don't a lot of the
That's
time.
like one of the only times I like playing cash is when it's just so obvious who to play and you don't. But yeah, well, that's definitely one of the nice things about the site. We're not just saying it, but every sport. I mean, I know on the weekends I'm playing 8-9 different sports and I love it. I love the weekends where I can go in and read Coop and Maddie's stuff about NASCAR, go to tennis, look at Susie's stuff, go to the college football, my man Bruce, everybody in there grinding. I mean, it's fun. I enjoy it. I really enjoy playing those sports that I don't start out knowing a ton. And then by the end of the season, I'll know a bunch about the college football. And I mean, obviously now MMA and NASCAR, we know more about from the content and stuff. So I love it. It's just awesome to dive into some of those other sports every weekend. Yeah, my man Bryson, though, we didn't talk about the golf. Man, he was so good all weekend, totally dominated, and Cantlay just decided he was going to make every damn putt the whole freaking weekend to beat him. It hurt a little bit, though, because Bryson, I mean, all these guys, I got like 4 side bets with all these donkeys, Pensack and Snyder and Bobby Gomes. All you guys get off the hook for a double dipper. I mean, how good do you all run?
I saw, yeah. I mean, because my grandpa, he follows you and knows you're a big Bryson guy. He texted me because I don't follow golf that much, but he goes, Big T's got Bryson in the playoffs. I assume he has a lot of him, needs him to ship. It was up, 5 strokes? I looked at it at 1.2, and then it was just Bryson doing Bryson things, birdies, all this, and then
he should have ended it on Saturday. It should have been over. Like he should have been up by probably seven strokes going into Sunday, and then he hit in the water, and it was tough.
He definitely had chances. I mean, the dude still finished. We can say the dude finished 27 under.
Yeah.
I mean, Big T would have finished like 15 under at that course. That of course, like to just to talk about your tweet where you said who likes these birdie fests. Every once in a while it's fine, but when you label certain tournaments playoff events on the PGA Tour, you can't have a course where dudes can get close to 30 under. Like, to me, that's just egregious that happened this week. That was just not that's not what playoff golf should be about.
No, I don't know how anyone could like it, honestly. I mean, and I had a really good week. I mean, I had Rahm Bryson everywhere. I mean, a ton of guys up tight. It still wasn't fun. So, I mean, if I had Bryson, I had him on every team. I still didn't like it. So that tells you that I'm not even being partial because I did good. So if I did bad, I would have hated it even more.
Yeah, that shows how hard tournaments are too. Your screenshot, you cash every single one of them in tournaments.
And that's what the 150s, I didn't go all the way down, but my 150s, I cashed 120 of the 150, and it still wasn't a double up.
That is similar situation with you. I'll tell you what it is. It's that freaking 4K Millie maker that is $1 million to first and $100,000 to second. Total prize pool in that puppy is $2 million. Half of it goes to first. It's just that it's tempting to play. I mean, I played it at a team that was top 20 basically all weekend, and I didn't really make any money. So it's a painful structure.
Until we get that shipperoo, though, then it's not gonna. It's gonna feel good when we get that next one. I mean, it was 500 people again, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes. Yep.
I mean, that's just, you got a 1 in 500 chance of shipping a milli. But the flip side of that is exactly what Hoop said, where, man, if you don't win first, even if you get second, it might be even more tilting because you're only getting I think that the only spot you're not like super tilted is kind of where I was, where I knew I wasn't going to ship the milli, but I was just hoping both of my teams cashed. And I wasn't like tilted. I wasn't happy, but you're just in that mid range. Because if you're up in like second, third, if you finish second or third, you're happy. But at the same time, you're like, how the hell did I get third and get 50K?
Yeah, that would definitely be the most tilt. Second would probably be the most.
Second would be, especially if you were like winning or you had a chance and then somehow or another you lost. Like just say you got to it and you needed Bryson to beat Cantlay to finish first, or you'd finish second. Man, that would have hurt.
You're not sleeping for a couple days. Yeah, because there's people on Twitter. I mean, when they talk like 4 second place finishes and milli makers and stuff, like, man, that's tournament life for you. And people that are talking 150s, how, if I could 150, it's a guaranteed win.
Those are the dumbest people.
Yeah, it's 150 is the hardest. I mean, people just like to talk. There's 25.
You can cover all the combos, they say. You get all the combos by playing 150.
Yeah, I mean, there's 25-cent dollars in a lot of sports. We can 150 it. Try your luck over there and see how it's easy, because it's definitely not easy at all. But yeah, we'll get into this baseball slate first. With football coming up, I know I was grinding the best ball drafts. I got 150 done, but we still have a lot of people in there. Use the promo code RUNPEER for $25 deposit bonus on your first deposit. We have rankings over at RunPeer Sports, YouTube videos that Simon, Snyder, Bobby Gomes do. Tons of late news is coming out. Injuries is coming out. J.K. Dobbins, unfortunate news. Rashard Perryman just got cut today. Doing the best ball drafts gets you into the NFL rhythm. I'm having a lot of fun with that. Make sure you sign up over there at Underdog. We'll get into this MLB slate.
Who's on the show tomorrow? Is it us three again? When we got a milli maker tomorrow in baseball, I've been looking forward to.
Yeah, tomorrow's
Mangone, I believe, with you two.
We don't got Title on here.
Mangone's a good host.
Might have to. What is it? 2,500 buy-in, right?
Yeah.
They've been running
tournament.
They've been running satellites for that for a long time. And a lot of people at Run Pure Sports have been.
JSU's got freaking 6 seats from those qualifiers.
Wow. Yeah,
that's the K-Phallic method. Like that. I wish I did more of those, because when you get to that actual day, you would never, well, at least I wouldn't. Some people might. I mean, Hoop, as rich as he is, he might put 6 in it. But me, there's no way I'm putting 6 in it. There's no way JSU's putting 6 in it. But to just show up tomorrow and you got 6 just ready to that feels good.
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of the satellites, there's overlaying a bunch of those. And for NFL stuff coming up, both sites too, grinding those satellites and looking at it, people saying at Run Pure Sports Chat when there is overlay, definitely something to look at. But that'll be definitely something to tune in.
Hoop wakes up for breakfast with his cereal and just puts 6 in the 2,500. That's what real men do.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot easier as of late to do such things. when you get on big T like heaters, firing 18K into a contest is it's much more easy to absorb it.
When you're finishing first, second, or third, it's definitely easier too.
We'll head DFS is sick. How when you're on the upswings, like it feels so good, and then when you're on the downswings, you're like, I can't get in that thing.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, I was just thinking about it earlier, because obviously I've been doing this for, I don't know, probably almost like 10 years, and obviously there's a ton of swings, but when you're on a heater, like you feel just like untouchable, and it's like just confidence. You build your teams. Every team you build just feels great. Feels like you're on the right stuff. But when you're on a losing streak or a downswing, like you're second guessing yourself just constantly. Like everything you do is a second guess, and you're not feeling good about your teams. And it's an interesting game, that's for sure.
It's a sick life we live, for sure.
Yeah, it really is.
Especially tournaments. I mean, you've dabbled more in tournaments, man. over the years. I've dumped some cheese back over the years. When you get on those heaters, you can definitely dump them back in a hurry if you're not. Luckily, I think I've learned my lesson a little bit. So whenever the next big downswing comes, hopefully I've learned from the past. But
I've been there. I will say that is honestly the most impressive part about the Big T heater, because I've seen Big T go all the way up.
Yeah.
It's happened a few times. Bring her back down, but Big T is being uncharacteristically responsible this time around.
The only sport I've really overly fired on is golf. Like, I go pretty heavy in golf just because I feel like the variance isn't as high as other sports. But other sports, I've stayed pretty disciplined with all the things considered.
I mean, that's the hardest. I mean, even like, for us, I mean, I've done the same thing. You make something and you're like, oh, I want to do like 2 555s or something, or more than your bankroll that you usually do. And you see a week later and you're back to, you gave away all the shippers. I mean, that's the biggest thing in DFS.
You just can't do it. Like,
no.
You just have to. I'm not saying you can't take any stabs either, because you need to take stabs. You can't never take stabs either, but you just can't take stabs every day. And if you take a stab, don't be scared to go back down the next day. You don't need to take another stab. It's okay to sacrifice a little money here and there.
Yes.
Bankroll is the biggest thing in DFS. And I mean, you know, the people that play a little too much, the ones that tilt constantly and all that, that's just not a lifestyle. I mean, at least for me, it's not the healthiest lifestyle. But yeah, Big T, I'm impressed though, because your heater, you've been sticking with it in every sport. I mean, you probably feel a lot better too. The losing days, it's on to tomorrow. That's the good thing about DFS. There's always tomorrow. We'll dive into this.
Pensac, where's my Bryson box? Every time I owe you, you send me 4,000 messages on there. I'm going to just keep sending you messages now. Where's my Bryson dollars, Pensac? You got lucky to not get double dipped. Pay me my single dipper. Let's go, big boy.
You Pensac, what? You Pensac, Bobby Gomes, Snyder, all more.
One more thing I want to bring up before we get into the baseball talk. Like, we're on the show. Oh, what was it, on Friday? I want to say, was it Friday when we were on there? And Snyder's in the streets, like taking digs at Bryson after he shoots like 12 under because he missed the 59. And we put him back in his place a little bit, but yes, the putt was bad. Snyder, dude, like that's just an all-time like worst opportunity. Like, there's going to be opportunities to go at Bryson and take these pokes at Big T. The dude shot 12 freaking under, and you're in there trying to get at him? Like, Snyder, man, that was a bad look. And I just wanted to bring it up.
Take an L finally, though. He was like, man, I'll take my L. I shouldn't have faded him. He was admitting it. He was admitting fault. I mean, the dude, even though he didn't win, he was unbelievable all weekend. Like, go ahead and make fun of him when he dumps it all off on the back nine like he did at the U.S. Open. I don't know. I mean, he chunked a few shots, but I mean, the dude was incredible.
I know he doesn't care about this at all, but he is very quickly turning into the most like disliked guy like on tour amongst the players. Like, he has to be like the most disliked dude out there for sure.
He doesn't care.
I know he doesn't care at all, but
he's the most polarizing though, which is good because and it's not the Tiger effect, but it's like the Tiger effect where everyone cares what he's doing. All the other golfers, all the fans, the people are in the fans. I mean, he told the one dude he was ready to whoop his ass because the dude thinks if you scream Brooksy at him like that, that's just dumb. Like that joke is getting old. You can't just keep screaming Brooksy and thinking it's funny.
I enjoy seeing the Twitter videos every once in a while, but hey, he changed the game of golf. I'm not a big golf guy. I don't follow too much, but I like seeing 300-yard bombs or whatever it is that he is hitting on the course. So we'll dive into baseball though. First of all, looking at the likes, about 500 watching, 140 likes. We can definitely do better than that. We haven't talked about it yet. None of us like to beg, but please hit that like button. Hit the subscribe in the bottom right. We appreciate it. And if you're not a member, RPS NFL 15% off your life subscription. And that's going to be ending next week. NFL's coming up next Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you get in, join the winners, join the movement, and start picking winners, start cashing, having some fun. All right, 9-game slate. Good pitching up top right away. We'll get into it. I know we always talk about it with DraftKings and the pitching, though. The studs aren't priced high enough. And there's 3 studs that stand out above the rest. Corbin Burns at 10-2, Zach Wheeler at 10K, Robbie Ray at 9-7. They don't have the best matchups. Burns is going against the Giants. I don't like picking on the Giants at all. Corbin Burns strikeouts have been down recently. Giants have just absolutely been pounding righties, lead the majors in home runs. So I think he's going to come in the lowest out of these three up top, but I think for a good reason. Zach Wheeler at 10K going against Washington. And I think Robbie Ray is going to be the most popular going back home. They have the humidor there. It's a good pitcher's park, 9.7K. And Robbie Ray's just been so good. Leads the slate in strikeouts, strikeouts and the strikeout prop sitting at 8.5, which is a full strikeout above everyone else. He's going to be the most popular, I think. He's a staple in my cash games. Zach Wheeler, I definitely like at 10K too. Big T, I'll go to you first. Just talk about those three in the upper range because it's definitely the biggest decision on the slate. How do you rank them? How do you like them?
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty weak in the mid-range today too. So when we get to there, we'll talk more, but it looks pretty clear-cut at the top for me. I mean, Wheeler and Robbie Ray. Doubt I play Corbin Burns just because San Francisco is just tough. I mean, I don't really like to play pitchers all that much against San Francisco. Not saying I wouldn't because it's still Corbin Burns, still got big-time upside. I don't hate to play. I just like Wheeler and Ray more. But there's not that much I like in the mid-range. So, I mean, it could be a slate where we play two of these guys, honestly. And then as we get to the cheaper guys, I mean, there's a few in that cheap range I don't mind. But
I'll say
the top, super
Herman Marquez. So we're talking mid-tier. I think he's the one guy that he stands out in the mid-tier for me. The matchup against Texas, Herman Marquez is pretty good, 8.5K. I think he's the one that does get the ownership in the mid-tier if you go there. Like Luis Garcia, his pitch count's been down. He hasn't got over 90 pitches in his recent starts. Julio Urias, 9.5K. That feels too expensive. So we'll go to the mid-tier right away. I'll stay with you, Big T. Herman Marquez, what are your thoughts on him? Because, I mean, he stands out. I like picking on Texas. I think he's fine. Pitcher's Park. Or is there anyone else in the mid-tier that you'd like as a pivot? Or are you just going to –
I don't like Herman Marquez that much here. He's been terrible the last couple starts. I get worried about these bad teams that have a guy like him as the season winds down. I just really try to play pitchers in situations where the games matter a little bit, on teams where it matters. And then on offense, I want to pick on the teams that don't matter for the flip side. I know it sounds like common sense, but it still gets tempted. You get tempted in some of these spots to play guys like Herman Marquez. I mean, he's going to be maybe the highest owned on the slate tonight. And I just don't like him that much. In Texas, quietly has been hitting a little bit. These young guys have, I mean, they just embarrassed Houston yesterday, I think it was. They have got a ton of young guys that just go in there swinging. So I am not going to play Herman Marquez. It reminds me of, God, who was the pitcher yesterday I made fun of that was chalky that I would have never played? Who was the chalky?
Tyler McGill?
Yeah, Tyler McGill. Like I would have – that same thing. Like the Mets are in shambles. I don't know what he did either, honestly. So maybe I'm sounding stupid right now, but I thought he was a terrible play.
He did decent. I mean, I think he went 5 or 6, struck out 6, and got the win. I mean, he did fine. He didn't dominate or anything.
Yeah, he didn't dominate. He didn't suck. Either way, it didn't matter necessarily. I just don't want to play pitchers from teams that suck. Is the common theme behind it, especially when they're chalky. Herman Marquez is going to be very chalky. I'd rather play Garcia than Marquez, and I mean the ownership should be way less. Yeah, the pitches haven't been up, but I mean he's got 230 balls in the last 4 games. He plays for a good team that we think is going to make a run down the end in Houston. I'd rather play Luis Garcia in that mid range.
Yeah, people in Discord have been talking about him a lot too. Steve Boyton definitely is a big lunch lady guy. Yeah, the pitch count definitely is a concern, but the ownership's going to be very down because of it. So I think that's a very solid pivot in tournaments. Hoop, what are your thoughts in the top range? Corbin Burns, Zach Wheeler, Robbie Ray. And then, yeah, Herman Marquez at 8.5. Give me your thoughts about that on DraftKings and any pivots you see.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I see here, again, we're getting just cheap pitching prices on DK, and FanDuel continues to do a much better job of getting these guys up there. And to me, it just creates a situation where I just don't want to get cute at the pitcher position. I mean, Wheeler and Ray, well, I'll say Ray. I prefer Ray to Wheeler by quite a bit. I think Robbie Ray is the best pitcher play on the slate. But it's just too easy to get up here and play definitely one of these guys, maybe two. I don't really want to go Burns, in San Francisco. So Wheeler, Ray, I think phenomenal plays. Ray over Wheeler if I have to decide. But you can play both these guys pretty easily. If you come down, I guess I have a little more interest in Marquez. I mean, I like picking on the Rangers. I think he's fine. But there's not much else in this mid-tier. It's going to be a very tight core for me at pitcher. I don't mind going all the way down to Paddock at 5.6K if it helps me get some bats that I want. But, I'm going to make a very strong emphasis today on getting one of, if not two, Ray and Wheeler in my lineups tonight. Easy to do. I mean, 9-7. If you play them both, let's see, you're on DraftKings, you're looking at about 3.8K per roster spot. So you can still get exposure to some of these good offenses and play these two top guys on the slate. I will not be playing. I mean, I'm probably looking at five pitchers tonight on DK that I'd potentially play.
Yeah, I think Robbie Ray, Zach Wheeler, definitely the strongest and safest. Going down to the lower tier, we definitely don't have too many good options, I don't think. You mentioned Chris Paddock. The guy that stands out to me that I have some interest in, Nick Pivetta. He's 6.8K going to Tampa Bay. It's a pitcher's park like we talk about. And he has a pretty good K prop at 5.5 with strong juice on the over at -160. JT, he does his bang bang plays. I listened to that earlier. He mentioned Nick Pivetta too. Always like being on the same side as JT. So there are some expensive bats to pay for. Toronto today has a total above 6. We know you want to stack the top of the lineup when you do play Toronto. So Big T, what are your thoughts on Nick Pivetta? And then another guy, I don't know much about him. I see him popping in projections though. AJ Alexi, 4.7K, Texas, going against Colorado, which you like to pick on Colorado, pitcher's park. And if you want to pay up for bats, you're the Mr. 4K, 5K guys, completely punts. What are your thoughts on Alexi, on Pivetta, and then anyone else you see that catches your eye down below?
Yeah, those are my two guys down low. Pivetta, you got a good park. I don't really like playing pitchers against Tampa, so I don't know if I'll get there. But if it was the perfect fit and I had to play Pivetta, I'm not scared to roll the dice on him. He's been decent, and I love the park, so I could see him doing well. I'm not going to force him in. I'd still rather play the two studs like Hoop was talking about. But if you really like some offense and you have to play Pivetta to do it, I don't totally hate that. What happens a lot for me, though, is I end up like pretending I'm going to play Pivetta, and all it takes is like going down at one bat or two bats, and then you get the better pitcher, which I always like to do. Just sacrifice to play Kiermaier and Margot instead of that. This is just an example, not Tampa tonight, but play two of those guys instead of Meadows and Nelson Cruz or something. And you get the big time pitcher, which I like because the bats are way more volatile, as we all know, playing baseball. And so the other guy, Alexi, 4,700. We've talked about it all year on these baseball shows. Anytime I can get a guy projected in double figures that's around that 4 to 5K price point, I love it because there's just not as much pressure on it. If you get 12, 13, 14 fantasy points, you're just huge for that. And you can bank on your hitters to win it for you. Against Colorado in this ballpark, I have no idea who this guy is, which is why I like doing sometimes with DC and JT, the baseball truthers, because they can tell you about all about this dude. I don't know anything about him, but the good thing about having these projections and stuff, we can bounce off people. If I see a projection that's good, I don't really need to know more than that. At least that's how I look at baseball. I'll just trust the number and go with it. I mean, who knows? It doesn't really matter, right?
No, I'm the exact same way as you. I mean, I'm the host right now. I'm not a big baseball like DC, JT. Love baseball, played every day, but I couldn't tell all these minor league stats.
We don't need to know is the best part about DFS. We just can see the projection and go with it.
Exactly. And Dakota Simpkins, we have good people in chat. He said, play Alexi on DK. He's been good in the minors. Opponent batting average 183. So, I mean, hey, I like to see 183 good in the minors. a good projection, 4.7K. And I also like, I mean, people
The
play their
line's
cash.
pretty good too, I think. Like the Rockies have an all-star pitcher, Marquez pitching. Texas is one of the worst teams. Granted, the Rockies are bad too, but an all-star pitcher like Marquez, you would think he'd be a little bit higher of a favorite against Texas in my mind. So that means this other guy's got to be at least decent.
And I look at the K prop, 4.5 minus 130 on the
Oh,
over.
yeah.
That's
You gotta
really, yeah,
play that. That's a tasty prop.
that's very tasty. And people always play their cash lineups in tournaments, and people aren't going to go all the way down and play Alexi in cash. They're going to pair Ray and Wheeler, Marquez and that. So then you get an ownership discount too, get on a different page than the people that just play the chalk. So I think Alexi makes a lot of sense in tournaments. Hoop, what are your thoughts? Pavetta, Alexi, you mentioned Paddock. Anyone else down there that catches your eye?
Yeah, I mean, Big T knows me when it comes to DK pitchers, and I'm always, similar to Big T. I'm always willing to just go down to the bottom and play a guy that I've never freaking heard of before. It is unique, MLB DFS when it comes to some of these plays. In NFL, we're never playing a guy we know nothing about. In NBA, we're never playing a dude we know nothing about. But MLB DFS, yeah, is he cheap? Sure, I'm putting him in my lineup, and I think you can definitely do it. The K prop, that's nice. 4.5 juice on the.
That's wild, actually. 4.5 K prop.
Yeah, way more than I thought.
Yeah, that makes me feel real good about this guy. 4.7K, I am certainly interested. He'd definitely be in my player pool on DraftKings.
Yep. So yeah, we'll wrap it up because we mentioned, it's pretty tight player pool for me. Robbie Ray's number 1, Wheeler's number 2, and I'm going to go down to that Alexi guy in tournaments on DraftKings. I don't think his ownership is going to be too much. Like the projection, like the K prop. Big T, rank your top 3 pitchers in tournaments. 4 if you think you're going to play 4.
I'm just laughing at the chat too. We like to interact as these shows. Do not play Alexi, our boy Drew Anus says. He is not a top prospect. What the hell does it matter if he's a top prospect? I mean, I literally don't. If he was a top prospect, he probably, for one, wouldn't be dusty for Texas. And for 2, he'd be more expensive. That's why he's 4,700. Over the years, there's been so many good guys that come in their 4K, 4,700, and then 3 years later, they're 10K. I've seen it happen a million times over the years. It's just you got to get them early before people know it. But I'd rank my pitchers top to bottom. Robbie Ray's for sure number 1. Wheeler's still probably number 2 just because Washington's matchup's not great. Yeah, definitely Robbie Ray and Wheeler if I can control it. And I guess I'd go down to Alexi for my third option. Basically, if I find a team I like that I can fit the 2 studs, love it. If I have to go down to get big bats, I don't mind playing Robbie Ray and Alexi together.
Yep, definitely on the same page like that. Hoop, what are your thoughts? Top 3 pitchers, same?
Make it 3 for 3. I mean, none of us feel good about that mid tier. I'm going to really focus on the top 2 guys that we've all talked about, and then I guess for third, I just essentially punt it off at 4.7 with a guy that appears to have some upside. And I don't give a shit if he's a top prospect. I couldn't care less. He's 4.7K. His K prop's 4.5 with the juice on the over, and he's going against the offense that struggles on the road in a pitcher's park. Sign me up.
Yeah, and it gets you on a different bill. Like we said, Toronto big bats. If you get a double dong or 2 for big bats that people can't get, they go the Wheeler Ray pairing, makes you different, and you're already jumping above them. Even if you got a 6 or a 7 at 4.7K, it doesn't kill you. We'll go over, talk some bats. First of all, 565 watching, 194 likes. We can do a lot better than that. It's a great afternoon, Monday afternoon, 9-game slate. Chat's blowing up. Having fun, talking baseball. Please get those likes up. Hit the subscribe button in the bottom right. And if you're not a member, RPS NFL 15% off your life subscription. It's going to be ending very soon, so I recommend getting that very quickly. And then look at the bet side too. Joey Works absolutely been killing it. Dunkel, Keg, they're just spread. All of them are killing it over there. Not too much money extra to add on. Always check that. And it helps. I look at Joey Work. If he likes an over in a game, it translates to DFS. It correlates. He likes an under. You like the pitcher more. Definitely goes hand in hand. Make sure to check it out. They're picking winners over there. We'll go to hitters game by game. That's definitely what's been working best. No, that's what you guys like a lot. The first game, Philly and Washington. It's not a game that has a high total. Not a game that's going to get a lot of ownership in DFS, I don't think. Zach Wheeler on the mound, so I have no interest in Washington. And then Josiah Gray on the other side. Big T, I'll throw it over to you first. There's some cheap bats in this game, but it's not a high total. A one-off, are you looking at it anything? McCutchen at 3.8, Brad Miller 3.6, or are you just going to fade it all together?
Yeah, I've been waiting for this spot, actually. People love the Big T random split one-offs. I've been waiting for like a week since my boy came back. He kept facing lefties. Tonight, my boy Freddie Galvis gets a righty, Josiah Gray. I've been waiting for this, and you got Brad Miller right there too. So I think you got a very nice 3-man, maybe even more Philly stack. Bryce Harper for your stud, Brad Miller and Freddie Galvis. That's a nice little 3-man. And if you really like Philly, I don't hate playing 2 more. Odubel probably would be one of them, and then any of the other guys for a full stack. Or on FanDuel, you got a really clean 4-man. Odubel, Bryce, Brad Miller, Freddie Galvis. I love that 4-man from Philly. So definitely on that. And then, yeah, Washington, I actually stacked up Washington yesterday against that dust ball, whatever the hell you guys said his name was, McGill. Yeah. And they crushed. Like the top of the Washington lineup totally smashed. That's why I wasn't sure how McGill did, because my 4 Washington guys, like all of them smashed, like huge games. So the problem with the lineup is, though, I mean, look at this. You get down to 6. Keibert, Ruiz, Keyboom, Luis Garcia. Is that the pitcher? Is he double booking tonight? Luis Garcia?
No,
Isn't that dude's name?
Oh, no, that's Houston.
Yeah, the same dude, though. Luis Garcia in the 8-hole. I love it. The same exact. He's double booking tonight. But this lineup is super dusty. Just Philly for me in this game.
Yeah, Freddie Galvis, I missed it. That's definitely your boy. Free money Freddie, 3.4K. He's going to be low owned. The real free money Freddie for Big T, not Freddie Freeman. Freddie Galvis in the 6-hole.
He's going to hit a bomb for sure tonight, too.
It might be what? Big T 777 coming out from basketball to baseball. Philly, we got Toronto up next. Some good 7 games. We'll see. Hoop, what are your thoughts on this game? I assume no interest against Wheeler, but anyone on Philly?
Moderate interest in Philly. I mean, they got some of their guys are cheap. Obviously, I don't know if I want a full stack. Like Brad Miller on FanDuel is 2.3K, McCutchen's 2.7K, Herrera's 2.8K. So maybe a little more interest on FanDuel opposed to DK. But I don't hate it. I mean, Gray's a guy that we've been playing at the pitcher position. Ownership on Philly should be low, and I'm always kind of biased when it comes to the Phillies. They've treated me well this season, so maybe a little bit. I mean, we got a smaller slate here as well, only a 9-game slate, so you kind of got to expand your horizon a little bit. And I might be on a little bit of the Phillies here.
Yeah, I mean, we have 1 total implied total above 6, and then 3 above 5. So it's not the greatest hitting slate. So low owned Phillies, I don't hate it. We'll go over to the next game, which is definitely the best spot on the slate. Toronto with the total above 6, going against Baltimore and this Ellis guy that isn't very good. Bullpen that's not good. We like to target Baltimore. This lineup's just so good top to bottom. But, I mean, you got to pay for the bats if you want to play them, which is one reason. 2 punt. Vlad 6.2, Semien 5.3, Bichette 5.3. We don't have a lineup out yet, but I assume the regulars will be in. Big T, go right over to you. How do you look at Toronto? Going to eat some of the chalk? I don't even know if they'll be too chalky because you have to, if people are paying for bats and stuff. But what are your thoughts on Toronto? Full stack if you go Alexi. How are you approaching it?
Toronto is maybe one of the harder decisions I can remember for me in a while, because they are literally ice cold. Like, they've been a disaster the last couple weeks. No runs. This park is secretly like really bad for runs too.
Amazing what happens when they stop playing in like little college stadiums or whatever in all season.
It might have messed them up too, because man, they have been a total disaster. So these are the slates this is why I like tournaments better than cash. One of the reasons. Like, it seems so obvious on paper. Oh, I'm going to love Toronto tonight. But they're going to be so popular against Baltimore, who is just awful. So it's a great spot. Sure, on paper, I agree. Everyone agrees. Toronto's in a great spot tonight. There's no one that's going to come. All these other places will come on and tell you how great Toronto is. And that's fine. Again, if you like Toronto, go overweight. Jam them every direction. I think you can just get different and just hope they stay cold and just hope they don't go off. And it's baseball. When they bust, and we get on one of these other stacks that goes off, you'll have a chance to win everything tonight, which is what I want. If Toronto goes off and beats me, what do we say? There's always tomorrow. That's fine. I mean, other teams can score. I'm leaning towards fading. On top of, I just don't. Springer's been out, right? Is he finally back?
I was going to say he's expected to come back today, which is a boost for that lineup for sure.
Yeah, I mean, their lineup has definitely been weaker. Either way, though, like you look at the slate, there's just no other teams that are going to match up as far as ownership. Like there's going to be, it's Toronto and then whoever else. It doesn't matter. I'm leaning towards just fading Toronto, especially because it fits the build with two studs even more so. Give me the two stud pitchers. Give me some maybe lesser bats. The Freddie Galvis and the Brad Miller come to mind. And I'll try to beat you with the two pitchers and some of my cheaper bats tonight. I think I'm going to fade Toronto.
Yep, definitely makes sense. Like we see it all the time in baseball. What did the Angels do last week when they put up 15 runs or something? Ohtani, the most chalky one of them all, he had like 4 or something. It's baseball. Anyone can go 0 for 4 or 0 for 5 any day. Hoop, what are you doing with Toronto? And then if you have any interest in Baltimore, they'll be really low owned, but I don't assume that's the case.
Yeah, definitely no interest in Baltimore. I mean, Ray is by far my favorite pitcher. I think it's a good spot for him. Yeah, I mean, the Baltimore offense, they have some guys that can sneak up on you, but man, you start to get to the bottom. I mean, they got Severino batting 5th, Urias 6th, McKenna, Mateo, Gutierrez. Really good matchup for Ray. So no Baltimore. Toronto, I'm gonna be playing Toronto at home. I just love taking offenses against this Baltimore pitching staff. All their starters suck. Everyone that comes out of their bullpen sucks. So give me the Toronto offense. Now, what Big T was talking about, I think is a great strategy in like some of the larger field tournaments. I'm not really playing the super large field tournaments and focusing in on that. If you're playing something where people can 150 max, I think it's a great strategy to get off an ice cold offense that we do have here in Toronto. Just have it. First half of the season, it was all about the Toronto offense. They're going out there scoring, 10, 12, 14 runs on a regular basis. Clearly the best offense in baseball. They're not clearly the best offense in baseball where we stand right now. They haven't been hitting it all that well. Their home ballpark, obviously not as hitter friendly as we've seen in previous years, and compared to what they were playing when they weren't here in Toronto and they're on the road playing in Buffalo and in Florida. So I don't hate being off them in the large field tournaments, but for me personally, I'll be on Toronto.
Joey worked in chat. He said, tune into the premium show to see what sneaky stack he is on tonight. Just another reason to go out, check out the premium show. Always great content leading up to lock over there. Central for your process.
Joey Work was sneaking up on hoops during the monster last night. He was creeping. I gotta keep an eye on Joey Work.
He was putting cores in yesterday too. He put a baseball core in for us. Joey Work's my hero. He just keeps grinding. He's going to hit a big one soon too, because he's been putting in a lot of work on the DFS side. I wouldn't be shocked if our boy Joey ships tonight. He's going on the premium show. Definitely check out those guys, because I have a feeling about my boy Joey Work. He might sneak up on all of us tonight.
Yeah, Joey Wendell in his cores. Yes, Joey Wendell in his core yesterday. A big 53 piece on FanDuel. I mean, Joey Work it on the cores and giving winners. Make sure to check him out on the premium show. 598 watching, 230 likes. We can do definitely a little better than that. We're not going to put a limit out there, but we appreciate if you're liking the show, liking the content, hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button for us, giving out winners on this Monday afternoon, a good slate. We'll head over to the next game. Tampa Bay.
So our boy Kevin Roth just tweeted out that he's upping the risk in Washington. Man, that would throw a kink in my whole plan if that game somehow gets in trouble.
Wow. Yeah, that's something to monitor for sure. I didn't see any weather earlier, but obviously I'm not a weather guy. He's the weather guy.
And Washington's just the one that always terrifies me too, because they just do the dumbest stuff.
Yep, that is for no reason.
Man, that'll mess me up, because I was really sold on liking Wheeler and those cheap bats. So if I lose that game, that hurts me a little bit.
Yeah, more probably Corbin. I still don't think too many people would go to Corbin. I think Marquez would just get even more. Yeah. People would just go right there. So definitely something to monitor. We'll be in Discord though. We always, if there's something we had to jump off, we let you guys know in Discord if we're playing it. make sure to join Discord, hop in there. We'll go to the next game though, Boston and Tampa Bay. Hoop, your boy Bobby Dalbec, he's in the 6-hole, 3.2K against Patino. Don't expect this game is going to be very owned, but any interest in Boston or Tampa? About you going back to Dalbec?
I will say, in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, anytime I put Dahlbeck in my lineup, he hits a bomb, multiple bombs, multiple times. He's treated me very, very well. And I guess I have a different strategy when it comes to like making teams and whatnot, but he's always like unowned. The guy's like 20 bombs on the season, and like no one wants to play him because he's, bad towards the bottom of the lineup. I don't think I'm going to be on him though tonight. I mean, I don't want hitters in this ballpark. I kind of like Pivetta a little bit, like not a ton. Ray's offense though has been treating me well too, but I think I could just see this being like a 4-3 ball game, and I just don't really want that. I think I'd probably lean the Boston bats if I was going to go anywhere, but honestly, at this point, I don't think I'm playing either side of this. I mean, I like the Rays offense. Like, they have some guys that can do damage. But in terms of like a full stack, I don't think I'm all that interested. Like in cash games, I think you can look at something like Kyle Schwarber's like 3.4K on FanDuel. Like, I think you can play Kyle Schwarber if you want. But overall, I'm not super excited, but not a strong conviction here. Maybe you guys, have a stronger take, but probably going to be off this game.
Big T, I know you don't like playing bats in this park very often, even when they're in better spots. So you going to stick with your plan, or you going to be on Tampa or Boston?
Yeah, I mean, some of my rules in baseball, I just don't really get away from outside of super small slates. Boston is such a good home team in that park. When they go on the road, I naturally take them down a few pegs, and then you put them in Tampa, and that's like the worst possible spot. Two decent pitchers too, I'd say. Pivetta and Patino are both decent. I see no reason to play bats here. I mean, I would take a stab. I'm looking at the rest. Basically the rest of the slate. This would be my lowest ranked game on the board. I just see no reason to play hitters in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay, I like the offense, but they've been hot against Baltimore? What was it? They're 18.
How many times does Tampa play freaking Baltimore? Like, it feels like they've played them a month straight. They're just always playing Baltimore.
I think I saw 18-1. I think I saw was their record or something just absolutely ridiculous. And and Dunkel, I saw his tweet sometimes. Like, sometimes you can throw all the numbers out and you just see Tampa against Baltimore, and you see that, Sam, and you just keep rolling it every time.
I say this like every year though. Like, why do we not just bet it like every time? Like, just bet against Baltimore every game this year and you'd be up a fortune. Like, yeah, each day maybe the price doesn't look great, but just do it the whole season. Just every freaking day bet against them and you're going to make money.
Yeah, there's always those teams, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, that Tampa stat though I saw, that's just absolutely crazy. We'll go to the
next. It felt like every day they're scoring 10 runs on them. They just kept pounding them. Every day they play them. And it's always in Baltimore. It's never in Tampa.
Yeah.
No. It seems like Tampa Bay has played in Baltimore about 45 times this year.
I swear it does. And I stack them every time too.
And they always score like 12. So it works out well.
They never score 3 ever. It's always like 12.
Yeah.
Picking on Baltimore is always good, and Toronto gets them today, so we'll see about that.
Ian in the chat, I don't know if this stat might not be correct, but 21% of their runs this year against Baltimore. That's hilarious.
Wow.
I mean, maybe it's not right, but it's got to be somewhat true.
If it's 18-1, they got 19 games every time they're putting up that 1/5 of their runs against one team. That's quite the stat for sure. We'll go to the next game. Another pitcher's park, Colorado and Texas. But hey, you guys don't have a lot of interest in Marquez. He's going to be one of the higher owned pitchers on the slate. Texas is cheap. They have a lot of cheap bats. I mean, Yanni Hernandez, 2.6K leading off. Nathaniel Lau, I think that is 2.9K. Adolis Garcia, 3.4K. Their most expensive bat is 3.9K. Marquez is going to get ownership. Big T, you're talking about how Texas has been hitting a little bit. You're going to get some leverage with some of these Texas bats?
So I like this game for offense. Even though we talked about our boy Alexi, you got two bad teams. You got bad pitching staffs once you get in there. Even Marquez, once you get in this Rockies bullpen, it's open season too. So I think both these teams are going to be super low owned for a game that is trending towards a 9 total, which is a pretty decent total on this slate where there's not that much offense. I like these two teams. I mean, these offenses, you look, I mean, the Rockies, look at these prices. They're freaking expensive. There's going to be no one play this team. Like no one. You're going to get them so low owned that it makes it interesting. I mean, they have a 4.5 total. Who knows? Yeah, we talked about Alexi. What if he gets wild like we've seen a ton when these guys come up to the bigger show? I think the Rockies, I mean, these prices, no one's going to play them at all. And they could win. I like the Rockies side and I like the Texas side. These are going to be 2 tournament stacks for me without a doubt. And they're both going to be just, I mean, criminally low owned. When Toronto busts, maybe you get some weather in the Washington game and all of it. We see it happen all the time in baseball where every game is pretty slow and then you have one game that goes off. I see no reason it can't be this game at a super low ownership, and I'm going to be high on both of these teams.
The DK thing Colorado was playing in Coors?
Those prices are outrageous.
They're more
they're going to be literally 1% owned.
Blackman
Against a pitcher that, he could be fine, and I'm going to play the guy. But what if he gets bad and you get in that Texas bullpen early? I mean, Colorado could easily win this slate.
This is these prices. I mean, they're more expensive than they are at Coors every time. I feel like they are like
outrageous prices.
5.5, 5.6 for Story, 5.2 for Crone. Connor, wow, yeah. What?
I mean, I'm making one team for sure with Rockies because those prices are outrageous.
Yeah, no one's gonna play them, and sometimes you just feel like is DraftKings onto something a little bit? Is that pricing algorithm seeing something?
It's still first Texas, man. Like I'm telling you, the end of this season, if you pick on these bad teams, you are gonna make money, and like you're gonna give me an unowned team versus Texas. I have to take a stab at it.
Yeah, 4.6 applied total too. Guaranteed 9th inning at bats. I mean, low ownership. I definitely think it's very sharp in tournaments. Hoop, what are your thoughts? Probably more larger field GPPs, but I mean, hey, even
this is where Hoop's the master, though. This is where I think me and Hoop know our strengths. Hoop is just the best of anyone in the world at these 100-man big stakes. Like he won't get in the streets with these teams as much because he doesn't need to. I'm not as good with the 100-man fields as he is. Like we have to know our strengths for sure. And Hoop is literally the best at just jamming the best teams and just going that way, which is how you have to be. I need to do more of that. And I don't build my teams how I should probably, where this is probably a hole. I'll still put my same teams in like that bigger stuff. And you can look at my roto tracker, like my weakest ROI is for sure like the super high stakes, low field things, because I still put my same damn teams in it. So when I win, I'll win by 100 points. Yeah. You don't need to win by 100 points. You just need to put the best team out there.
I mean, I think this is a slate though. Like at the end of the night, the 2 teams that win it, I think we could be surprised because like the top teams here, the most popular Toronto, pretty cold as of late. The Padres, same thing. Padres they're not smashing it like they were early on in the year. They're going to be pretty popular too. I think we could be surprised by the teams that win, and you guys did kind of sell me on Colorado for a couple reasons. Like on DK, like the price is going to keep people totally off of them. But you look at their lineup, this is actually one of the best lineups I think that they've thrown out in a long time. Like they've had some dusty lineups as of late. Well, now you got guys you can play like 1 through 7 from Joe all the way down to Tapia. They get the DH in their lineup. The pitcher's not in here, obviously, in Texas. I want to pick on teams that are dead. Texas is a dead team. So I think Colorado does make sense. Like I wasn't going to be on them, but you guys definitely kind of talked me into them for, I guess, all the reasons that I kind of just mentioned as well. So I don't mind Colorado. can't do Texas. So I know Tony's had some success with Texas lately.
I don't think I have I?
Friday, I believe they had two guys in your core that hit bombs that were like unowned. Solak, when was that? That was like last Friday, maybe, right?
The problem was two of them hit bombs, but the other two got 0.
Yeah,
those were my two donuts of that team.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be. I like Marquez a little bit more than you, so I'm not going to be on Texas, but I'm definitely on board with Colorado. I'm glad you brought them up because this is a slate where we're struggling to find offenses that we're comfortable with, and I think Colorado makes sense. And like I said, like I look at this lineup, and this is probably one of the stronger lineups they've rolled out in a while.
One more thing to make us like it even more. Uncle T in the chat, extreme hitters umpire in Texas. And we know how bad umps have been this year. If there's an extreme hitters umpire and there's a couple close calls that go to the hitters, I like that even more for sure. So great information, Uncle T. Yeah, I you're talking me into it too. And I thought you made a really good point, Big T, about how hoop and the small man, the 100 stuff, and you throw your same large field tournaments in the same smaller field tournaments. I mean, everyone in those 100 ones just throw their cash team in there pretty much. So they all have either the same lineups or 1v1 in that. And hoop plays the good teams like Boston and that, but you play Dalbec in the 8-hole or you play lower own guys.
Well, that's where I've changed. Yeah, that's where I switched it up a little bit. Where I know what my competitors are going to do. Like, and I was one of those guys that would just jam my main team in there. When for the most part exactly what your competition is going to do, you have a big advantage over the competition. So.
And that's where you can look at the cash chart. Like I always recommend tournament players. We were in Discord talking a little bit. Look at the cash chart, whether you're a tournament player, a cash player, knowing what the chalk is, and then pivoting to lower own people, deciding what chalk you want to eat, not eat. It's important to be a good tournament player. You have to know what chalk is going to be and pivot that way. So little tangent there, but I think all very important parts to be a good DFS player. We'll go to the next game, the Yankees and the Angels. Yankees, I think might be a little owned. What do they got? 5.2 implied total on the road, guaranteed 9th inning at bats. I don't see a lineup out yet, but Anthony Rizzo still 3.7K. Joey Gallo still 4.4K. Gary Sanchez might be back in the lineup 4.2K. Like they're too cheap. They're 5.2 total. Gonna get the 9th inning at bats. It's the Yankees. Big T, I'll go to you. Prices are dumb. So are you going to go there? But I mean, Colorado, you can pair one in Colorado, one off some power. What are your thoughts with the Yankees and the Angels are going to be unowned?
Yeah, I just don't play the Yankees on the West Coast. I just don't. It's just one of the things I don't do. I don't necessarily like them in this park. I don't like them when they're out on the West Coast. I just don't play them. So I'm going to be off this. And Kluber, I mean, this dude's still alive. I thought he was retired. I mean, I can't believe he's back. So it kind of does make me want to play an Angels team just because we don't know what we're going to get from Kluber. And I just think Kluber sucks. I mean, we've seen Kluber get bombed. I mean, just straight shit on so many times. I don't mind. This is a night where if I fade Toronto, I want to take some stabs on some low-owned teams. And I think the Angels could fall into that bucket too for me.
I think Coop and Big T can take responsibility for ending his career. I mean, you and I front row at the Cavs playoffs game. Who was sitting behind us? Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber, second row, Hoop and Big T front row. I mean, that was a career ender for him.
You were chirping him, let him know about it.
Oh no, just he was sitting behind us, so we didn't even know. No communication. He was there with his lady, but he might have been row 3 actually. Was he 2 or 3?
He might have been in 3. I don't remember. I remember that picture though that was on Twitter last year. That was a replay of it where one of my uncles was in the picture with Kluber. Yeah. Everybody was screaming at Tristan Thompson or something.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Kluber, hey, what are you gonna pick on Kluber then, Hoop? I mean, little narrative street. Last time you were Brandon Marsh narrative street, he went on an absolute heater too. So
say thank my son for the Brandon Marsh.
Hold on a second, guys. Kluber had a no-hitter this year. Oh, I'm terrified now. Holy shit, he had a no-hitter. We forgot Brandon McNair. Thanks for reminding us. Holy shit. I'm scared.
Yeah, can't play Los Angeles now because Kluber had a no-hitter. I like the Yankees a little bit more here. I mean, I don't know. This slate for offense isn't all that great. And if I can get on an offense where a majority of the lineup is capable of hitting bombs, I think that's a good place to start. So, Rizzo, Judge, Stanton, Gallo, Sanchez, have interest in all those guys, as a stack and even some one-offs. Kluber, no hitter. I don't think I can play the Angels today.
We see AP in chat. Big T, I don't even know if you want to even go to the live final. AP said gonna take home the belt guaranteed. So
I hope he does. I'll be the first one to chest bump my boy AP. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for myself first, just to be honest. But secondly, I'm rooting for AP.
Yeah.
So selfish of you.
First, second. That's what. When is that? It has to be coming up
Next weekend. We got not this weekend. The opening weekend of football.
Ooh, DK couldn't have had a week before.
They got that party for the football too, so they want everyone there.
Oh, well, hey, yeah.
The baseball final Friday night and then the football party Sunday.
Sounds like a good time for sure. A couple RPS members there. Hopefully you guys take it down. We'll be cheering for you.
I think there's only 100 in that too, and we got at least 6 or 7 total RPS, I think, so far.
Wow, yeah.
Hopefully we can take one down for one of us, one of the RPS people.
Yeah, got to see a couple logos up top. Take it down.
AP says he'll drink the most too, guaranteed. I don't know, AP. There's some drinkers there. You could have some. I mean, Haas the boss that we took down in the cornhole pit.
Haas is there. It's going to be tough to beat him in the drinking department.
I mean, those guys, I don't know what his buddy's name was that lost the 500 to us, but that boy, there's no way AP's out drinking that tank.
Yeah, we didn't mention it on the show. Big T and Hoop did collaborate for $1,000 cornhole victory in Denver, and it was a rough setup too. I mean, rough setup in the dark, bags that were like half full. It was a battle, way more of a battle than we anticipated.
Hey, taking it down. The cornhole pits are always fun. We were grinding them out there with us. AP, he was definitely slugging a few, but AP, once you start drinking, I'll tell you not to get to the poker table. Fortunately, that didn't go too well. Uncle T, myself, we took Snyder, took a little cheese from AP. So just stay away from them, stick with the drinks, and take down that belt. Had to throw some shade at AP. I know he's a good poker player, but
we need to go. We need to make the March Man. I might just do it. Well, even without the Millie, we might have to do that each year.
Oh, I was already planning on coming back, so
we might have to do that. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to. I mean, if someone hits a Millie, we'll still do another one, but we'll still have the March Madness one no matter what.
The only question is, title staying for a week or 2 weeks next
He's staying for 2 weeks again. Just like I loved having title here. The kids loved him. I mean, Courtney was sleeping on him the one night, like resting on his legs, and I loved having title. He whooped me on the court, but I loved having him here.
Yeah, no, your kids are a lot of fun.
UCLA guys the first night, the whole weekend. I mean, we had it all going on.
I said Juzang's ankle was done for, and then he goes on and has one of the best tournament performances there was.
Yeah, you said he was done.
he was milking that so hard. I won't forget that, but definitely a lot of fun. We're gonna have to do that again. We'll go to the next game, San Diego and Arizona. I think San Diego is going to be the second chalkiest team, maybe even the first. Outside of Toronto, it's going to be pretty close, but going against the lefty and Gilbert. And I mean, we got Tatis and Machado that absolutely crush lefties. Tatis is expensive, 6.3K, but I think he's the best play on the slate. Machado, 4.8K. Obviously, I'm talking cash games and where I think ownership's going to go to. Machado, 4.8 against the lefties, too cheap. Tommy Pham, 4.4. Will Myers, 3.4. Austin Nola. We don't have the lineup. I'm just expecting this lineup. Austin Nola at catcher, which is weak position, 3.1K. I think San Diego is going to get some ownership. Big T, I'll go over to you. What are your thoughts on San Diego, and if you have any interest in Arizona?
I mean, people are upset with us stroking each other, too. Don't worry about if we're stroking each other. We like good mojo. Maybe we want to stroke each other. There's nothing wrong with the little circle jerk on the Run Pure show before a night of action.
We chirp enough. We got to stroke once in a while. There's a lot of chirping that's always going on. It can't always be.
What's wrong with the little stroke? I mean, there's nothing wrong with stroking each other up a little bit. That's what it needs to be. Yeah, we can't play San Diego because Tyler Gilbert threw a no-hitter. We can't pick on no-hitters.
Next game.
Dude has a no-hitter. How can we play anyone against him?
We'll go to the next game. I mean, just skip it.
I mean, shit. I mean, the dude has a no-hitter.
Yep. All right. What about the other side then? I mean, San Diego, easy fade then. Other side?
Yeah, I mean, Paddock, man, his road splits. He is. What I like about tonight's slate is a lot of these like sneaky teams, I think are going to be like completely unowned, which is really nice in tournaments. Paddock is another guy, I will say, like Kluber, that I think can get totally lit up when he gets lit up, like just totally lit up. And this Arizona team has gotten a little bit better. They got a lot of guys that are lefties that can do some damage. I mean, Rojas, Marte, Pavin Smith, Peralta, and Van Meter's always hit righties. Varsho as a catcher isn't bad. I like Arizona. So, I mean, tonight, these are my favorite tournament nights for big field stuff. I like Arizona. I like the Angels. I like the Rockies. I like Philly. I like some of these teams that are just going to get literally no ownership. And I actually feel good about the matchups. Like, I'm not scared of Chris Paddock literally at all. He's terrible on the road. Arizona's going to be completely unowned. So sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his game log. Paddock's always one of those guys. You see like a 16, a 29, a 27. Then you see -14, -6.75, 7, 8. He's one of those boomer bust guys. When he gets hit, he definitely gets hit. They're going to be unowned for sure. So definitely makes sense in tournaments. San Diego, I know you were joking around.
Has he ever had a no-hitter, though? I mean, if he had a no-hitter, I need to reconsider.
Well, on a little more serious note, San Diego, they're going to be owned. Are you just going to, I mean, like Toronto, I mean, obviously, yeah, Gilbert's had a no-hitter. Wow. But are you going to have any San Diego with a one-off, a Tatis, a Machado, or are you just going to fade it because they're going to be owned? Big T.
What'd you say? I was too busy fighting with Phallic in the chat.
You're good. San Diego, on a more serious note.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing San Diego. San Diego's as cold as Toronto. I don't play these cold teams. They're going to be the two highest owned teams on the slate, and I don't like either one of them. So that's why I like tournaments tonight.
Yep. What are your thoughts? San Diego, Arizona?
Yeah, I'm going to play the Padres. I mean, it's just the slate's just lacking offense, and I know, some of these offenses are cold. It's just hard to avoid them, I think, on the slate because there's just, to me, not a ton of offenses that I feel comfortable with. And Arizona, I think makes some sense in the large field, deep tournaments. No one's really going to be on them. People will probably actually play Paddock because of his price tag, which should keep the ownership low on the Diamondbacks. But don't hate them. A lot of salary savers here in this lineup, really cheap. Really, when you look at Christian Walker, 2.5K, Pavin Smith, 3K, David Peralta, 2.8K. So this is a good team to stack if you're going to double pay up at pitcher.
Yep, most definitely. We'll go to the next game, but we have 600 watching, 275 likes. Definitely doing pretty good with the likes. We appreciate it. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us in chat. If you haven't hit the like button, we always appreciate a like, subscribe. Going to the next game, though, only a couple games left. I think only 3 games left. Milwaukee and San Fran. Corbin Burns on the mound. I know Giants have been really good, but you're not even getting too much leverage, I don't think, because Burns isn't going to be too owned unless Wheeler does lose some. If we lose the Wheeler game, he might get a little more, but we have the Giants, Milwaukee, low total, Cueto on the mound on the other side, who isn't the best real life. I mean, he's a better real life pitcher than DFS. He limits damage pretty well. Hoop, I'll go right back to you. Any interest in either of these offenses?
No, I mean, Burns obviously solid pitcher. I mean, I don't really want to play him for DFS, but I also don't want to pick on him. Giants, they're a pesky offense, but I just don't see the upside here, especially in this ballpark. One of the lowest totals on the slate, 7.5. This is a game that I'll just be crossing off.
I'm with you, Big T. You got some low on stacks already as well. You going to add another to the list in this one?
Yeah, I don't think so. Milwaukee's lineup is one that I just never like. I mean,
hurtful.
They're so good though. Like Milwaukee for the last 5 years, I just never liked their lineup, and they always end up in the playoffs looking like a good team. They just win too. I mean, these guys are good players. I just never liked the stack, and in this park, I just don't love it. And it's going to be kind of cold, I think, there for this time of year. It's supposed to be in the 50s or something, which could be a reason. If we lose this Washington game, maybe we pivot Wheeler to Corbin Burns more than I originally thought, because I do want to pay up for 2 pitchers if I can. And this cold weather could be nice for a guy like Corbin Burns. So maybe I'll pivot some of my Wheeler over to him. Offense, though, I'm not playing any offense in this game.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Weather at this time of the year, definitely want to pick on. I mean, there's good weather in some spots, bad weather all the way across the country. It depends in August. And 60, high 50s, low 60s. That's not an offense, a spot I want to attack offense. Corbin Burns, I think you made an interesting point. So we'll monitor weather. We'll let you guys know in Discord our thoughts on Wheeler safe, Wheeler not, what we think of that game. Going over to the next game, we have the Dodgers and the Braves. 2 lefties on the mound, Drew Smyly and Urias. Dodgers have a total above 5 sitting there, and Atlanta has one of the lowest totals on the slate. We don't have the lineups yet, of course. We never do. It's a late game. Hopefully they're not out sooner rather than later. I like getting lower ownership on the Dodgers. I don't think Drew Smyly is very good. I have some interest. AJ Pollock, 3.6K. Justin Turner always crushes lefties, 4.7K. G. Risen's boy, Trey Turner, 5.4K. Dodgers have a good lineup. I know Hoop always loves that. I'll go over to you. Are you going to be playing a little Trey Turner, any of these Dodgers?
Oh, that was such a funny show. Given G Risen shit. If you didn't see, that was just a good one. Oh yeah, I like the Dodgers.
My favorite player is Trey Turner. We were talking Miguel Cabrera, all these other dudes. He goes, Trey Turner's my favorite player.
Oh yeah, we're talking about like kind of secret weapons that we all like, and guys that are not as well known. And Trey Turner's my guy. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I actually really like the Dodgers here a ton tonight. Drew Smyly, to me, this kind of seems like a spot where he's just going to kind of get blown up. And, again, late game here. Hopefully the ownership, if the lineup doesn't come out, the ownership comes down a little bit. Both Turners, Pollock, Chris Taylor, Will Smith, don't even hate like Muncy, lefty. There's a ton of guys in this lineup you can play. I don't think the ownership will be all that high, so I'm definitely very interested in the Dodgers bats tonight. And then, nothing on the Braves side.
Big T, Dodgers, Braves.
I don't know what happened to the Oops camera.
It's always
blurry as shit.
Getting fixed this week. By next week, the situation is going to get right. Big T's getting like the all-star $1 million setup, and Hoop has a camera that doesn't freaking work
on this heater, and you can't afford a camera that stays dialed in the whole time.
He's getting new stuff. We got to make him get some new stuff. And the next thing's going is those rings behind it. I'm gonna have to text his wife.
You got to give it Mrs. Hoop on that.
What about? I got another question. What about that? The grill you've been talking about for the past couple months. Or was it Blackstone? Wasn't that what you wanted or something?
The Blackstone grills.
You said you wanted it. Now you have the heater. You got to pay and reward yourself. Is that the next purchase too?
Those grills are actually not even all that expensive. I think they're only like $300. So maybe it's time.
And you still haven't got it. Yeah, you were talking about it for months, and that should be on the list. Amazon, get a camera, get some new backgrounds.
Camera grill combo.
Yep.
Everyone in the chat, very blurry Hoop. Am I high or is Hoop way out of focus?
It's changing. It's the computer. Big T and Hoop are getting new computers, so it's going to change.
Big T.
So back to this game though, real quick. The Dodgers. The more we talk, this is why I love doing these shows. The more I talk about it, the more I love the slate, because the Dodgers literally haven't scored runs in 3 weeks. They haven't scored at all. I mean, so ice cold that, I'm pulling up their thing right. They literally haven't scored close to double-digit runs in the longest stretch. They just haven't scored at all. The Braves, I don't know. I just don't want to pick on this pitching staff. Smiley's not incredible, but he's deceptive enough to where he never really gets just totally smashed. The bullpen's decent behind him. I have no interest in the Dodgers, and I feel good about it. I feel good. The more we talk about this whole slate, I feel good. All the teams that are going to be high owned, I don't like, and all the lower owned. And it's not like this. I've been on a ton of chalk all year, kind of with some of the chalky spots. Like we said, Tampa and Baltimore, I pound them every time. Tonight, though, I just don't like any of these chalk teams. So I'm very excited about the tournament aspect for tonight.
Yep. You'll definitely get yourself low owned. Angel Pinto in chats that came in late, fellas. Can you give a quick run through of pitchers? Really quick, you always can go back through the show, 1.5x speed it. Mangone's not on the show, so you should be able to understand this the whole way. But it was Robbie Ray 1. For all of us, we had actually the same. Robbie Ray 1, Wheeler 2, but you do have to monitor that weather in that game. And then Alexi on DraftKings at 3. He's 4.7K. We had some interest on the offensive side and the pitching with his price, good K prop. So that's a little quick rundown for pitching, but you can always go back after the show and catch up with us. We'll head over to the last game, Houston and Seattle, Greinke and Flexen on the mound. In Seattle, another pitcher's park. I don't really target very often, but I mean, Houston can hit. They obviously have a good lineup. Yordan Alvarez, he's 5.9K though. Altuve 6K. There's some expensive bats at the top, and then there's some cheap guys at the bottom of the order. I'm not going to have too much of this game in this park. Hoop, what are your thoughts, Seattle and Houston?
Houston's like one of those teams. I mean, I've obviously been playing them a little bit lately, and it just seems like they just never get there, and they've just been disappointing. Maybe they're just at the point where they're coasting. I don't know. But, I've played them a decent bit, and the results have not been great. I'm going to probably be off them. They've hurt my feelings, to be honest. I'll likely be off them in this ballpark against a pitcher who's actually been pitching pretty well. And then, yeah, I'm definitely not going to have any Mariners bats here.
Big T.
I'm going to ride it out. Yeah, they haven't been good. I know I keep saying this. I mean, I'm saying to fade Houston, the Dodgers, San Diego, and Toronto. So if you're watching this show for the first time, I apologize because I'm definitely on some contrarian stuff tonight, and I'm going against the 4 best teams. So we're playing tournaments, though. We're not going to be like all these other sites that come on here and tell you to play every single player on the slate. I'm going to take some stands tonight. I'm going to fade Houston with Hoop 2. Don't love the park. Flexen's decent. I mean, decent to good even. I think he's more good than bad. I don't know. I don't really see a reason to play Houston. I just don't. So I'm not going to do it. I'll fade with Hoop.
Yeah. I mean, you got to make stands. You can't play every single team in this park. I think we all agree there. We'll head over the stacks. Yeah, looking at the likes, 304 likes, 600 watching. Absolutely beautiful. We appreciate it, guys. Appreciate the support. Thanks for hanging out with us, having some fun on this Monday, picking some winners. We'll go into the top 3 stacks, and we can include Toronto in it. In tournaments, though, I think I'm with you guys. I'm not really going to go to Toronto and full stack them too much. It's a pretty tough slate, though, for stack. Nothing stands out as much. I think the Padres and Toronto is going to be the 2 most chalky teams for sure. So I'm just going to fade them in tournaments. It's a 9-game slate. I think another team's going to break it. I'm going to say Yankees 1 for me. I'm going to go Dodgers 2. I know they've disappointed me for so long. Dodgers 2, and then I'm going to go with the Rockies. Big T's talked me into that. I definitely like that. Guaranteed 9th inning at bat as well. Then you can get both sides of that game. You can get some of the cheap guy in Alexi if you're making multiple lineups, some Colorado, and go that way. Big T, what are your top 3 stacks on the slate?
So after we've gone through the whole slate and I have a better feel for it, I'll still put Toronto in there just because I think we talked about it during the show. I think if you're in smaller fields, I think Toronto is clearly the best. I mean, Baltimore is just awful. They have no pitching. They keep giving up double digits. I think Toronto is a good fade in tournaments, but I still think they're clearly the best stack, especially because I have no interest in San Diego, no Yankees, no Dodgers, no Houston. Yeah. So I want to put at least one chalky team back in there, and it would for sure be Toronto for me over those other teams. So I'll put them in there as kind of my chalk type stack. And then, like we said, I like the Rockies, the Angels, and Arizona as my 3 kind of contrarian lower owned stacks to go with some Toronto guys.
Yeah, like you said in tournaments too. I mean, when you're on lower stacks, you can mix in a chalk here and there and stuff. You don't just got to go all 2%.
It could even be a thing where you play, like a lot of people that do Toronto will do 3 on DK or 5 on DK. Maybe you do the opposite and go 5 Rockies and 3 Toronto. That gets you different just doing that. And who knows, maybe you bank the 3 Toronto guys that crush, Rockies go off and you ship.
100%. Hoop, top 3 stacks.
So outside of Toronto, I mean, they're going to be popular, and I am going to be playing them. I like the Yankees. I'm with you. I actually really like the Yankees tonight. I'm I do like the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to get things going against Smiley. The home run upside in that lineup, there's a lot of it. You guys sold me on the Rockies, man. I have a good feeling about the Rockies tonight, so I'll throw them in there too for tournaments.
I mean, Wally Woodpecker is calling Hoop out. Hoop's a sellout. What is he a sellout for? For his own company? What does that mean? He's a sellout for what?
Keep your mouth shut, you loser.
Keep your mouth shut when I'm talking to you.
Yeah. All right, sir. You got me. Anything else? Any other orders, buddy? Wally? What a sad existence. You're in a YouTube chat talking shit to people that are doing a free fantasy baseball show. Like, man, that's low-level stuff there. You got to feel bad for
the best part
Big
is whoever it is probably like someone we know that just like wants to be a part of it, and they just they're sad. They want to go in there and talk trash. Come on, Wally Woodpecker, at least say your real name. Hey, I'd respect it if it was like Bobby Fi just comes in and, hey, Bobby Fi, I hate you, Hoop. Like, I'd respect that. I'd be like, okay, Bobby Fi.
It's probably a likely candidate. That dude's like super obsessed with he's obsessed with the movement. That's for sure.
Yeah, Wally, I mean, you just got to feel bad for guys like that. If nothing better to do in your time of day than go on a free YouTube show just to talk crap. I mean, hey, that's what makes it worse.
Like basic, like middle school jabs. Like, you're a sellout, man. Hey, Big T, like you jizzed on that guy's face, dude. You're a loser. Like, I mean, come on.
On a show
like,
too, where like it's all good, bro. Like, what do they think's gonna happen? It's all of our people in here that like watching it. That's why they're in here. Like, you're picking the wrong spot to talk trash. Like, go to Twitter, do whatever you want, Wally Woodpecker. It's not gonna work.
And like, all right, there's some people obviously in the industry. Like, if you get in their YouTube chat and you start throwing jabs at them, they might get a little rattled. Like, if you're coming here to do that to like Hoop and Big T, you're in the wrong spot because you can't rattle. I mean, look at the smile. Like, that stuff happens and it like brings enjoyment. It's like a fun time. It makes the environment fun. You get to, come at these dudes. It's the wrong people. It's not going to work on us.
Yeah. He's been talking to himself for like 15 minutes and it was just, hey, that's what some people do in life. That's all right. So wish you nothing but the best, but a little better mojo in the future. It'll help you in life in general. We'll go to the plays of the day though. But we have, it's a Monday, so I doubt Holden's working. Joey work, DC and JSU, I assume, heading up to lock in a couple minutes, right when we get off the show. RPS NFL 15% off your Lively subscription, and that will be ending soon. And then, mid-show, we talked about the weather coming up a little bit. I haven't had a chance to look yet, but they'll talk about that on the premium show. We'll be in Discord breaking that down, so make sure to get in. We'll go to the plays of the day, though. I'll start with myself. I want to give a low-owned play, and I'm going to go – Big T talked me into a little bit. Chris Paddock absolutely can get shelled. David Peralta, 2.8K in the 5-hole for Arizona. He's got some pop. Paddock struggles against left. I mean, I don't think he's going to have a good outing today anyway. Struggles a little bit. David Peralta is going to go deep today at very low ownership. So he's my SO play of the day. We'll go over to the Hoopster. Stay hot. Brandon Marsh was the last one I was on the show. He absolutely dominated. Who do you got for us for the 4X play of the day?
Yeah, it's a tough one today. I mean, there's not a lot of very comfortable plays. I'm going to the West Coast. I'm going to go to the Dodgers. I'm going to go with my boy Chris Taylor as the 4X play of the day.
Love it. Big T, to wrap it up, who do you workbench play of the day? I know you got a good one for us with all the teams you're on. Who do you got for us today?
I'm looking through these teams to try to figure it out like always. I think I might go a different direction here and go with an Angels guy against Kluber. Wow. Even though he threw a no-hitter, I'm a little nervous because he threw a no-hitter 5 months ago, so that worries me a little bit. But I'm going to go up for Ohtani tonight. I don't think anyone's going to play him at 6K against Kluber. And I like getting Ohtani low-owned on this slate. I don't usually go up for my workbench play, but he's going to be very, very low-owned tonight. Yeah. Sign me up for Ohtani. I think we might see a big game here from him.
Yeah, everyone's going to go either Tatis, Vlad, other guys up top. Anytime you get Ohtani low-owned, I definitely would take those odds as well. Thanks for hanging out with everybody today. It was a lot of fun. 9-game slate. I think we gave you a lot of tournaments. We gave you great insight. Cash games, we know where the chalk is. We'll have a cash chart up. Playbook's already up. All of that at Run Pure Sports. premium show coming up. Make sure to check that out. We're out of here though. For Hoop, Big T, myself, Titletown. Good luck, everybody.